My roommate's girlfriend moved in without asking. Now she's charging me rent. That was my roommate, Kyle. So I, 28M, live in a two-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized city. Rent isn't cheap, but it's not ridiculous either. It's a nice place. Washer/dryer and unit balcony, decent-sized kitchen, and most importantly, peaceful. I'd lived there about a year before Kyle. 27M moved in. Kyle was a referral from a friend of a friend. We didn't know each other well, but he seemed nice enough. Clean, punctual with rent, polite. He was a bit quiet and socially awkward, but honestly, that worked for me. I work from home in IT and value quiet. Plus, we had an unspoken understanding. We lived together, but we weren't required to be besties. We'd nod hello in the kitchen, occasionally talk about video games, and that was it. For months, it was smooth sailing. About 4 months after Kyle moved in, he started seeing this girl named Sierra. I met her briefly when she came over for the first time. She seemed intense, overly confident, constantly on her phone, talked over Kyle a lot. You know those people who feel like they're always performing, even in private conversations? That was Sierra. At first, she was around maybe 1 or 2 nights a week. She'd stay over, then leave early in the morning. No big deal. I've had roommates with partners before. It's not a crime. But something about Sierra rubbed me the wrong way. For one, she never acknowledged me. Ever. She'd walk right past me in the hallway, without so much as a nod. Once, we were both in the kitchen, and I said, "Hey, morning," and she just looked at me like I'd insulted her ancestors and kept scrolling on her phone. Strike one. Then I noticed little things. My dish sponge went missing. A new throw blanket from my couch was suddenly gone. I saw her wear my hoodie that had been hanging by the door. When I mentioned it to Kyle later, he said, "Oh, sorry, she thought it was mine." Strike two. Still, I let it slide. Not worth the drama. But the signs were building. A few weeks later, Sierra started staying over every night, like 7 days a week. She had a toothbrush in the bathroom, then shampoo, then skin care products. The closet in Kyle's room, which I had no reason to be in, but you can guess, started overflowing. Her clothes were on the couch, in the laundry room, on the balcony railing. At this point, I was like, okay, she's clearly living here. But Kyle never said a word. No heads up. No. Hey man, is it cool if Sierra stays here more often? Nothing. She just absorbed into the apartment like a weird passive-aggressive fungus. One night, I brought it up casually while we were both eating dinner at the kitchen table. Hey, just curious. Has Sierra officially moved in? Kyle looked caught off guard. No, not officially. She just, stays over a lot. I waited a beat. Yeah, I noticed she's basically living here. Are you guys planning to split rent or something? He blinked. I mean, she's not really using much. She just sleeps over. I swear I almost laughed. Dude, she uses a shower, eats the food, does laundry here, has more closet space than I do. That's not just sleeping over. Kyle shrugged and went back to eating. She's between places right now. Just temporary. Right, temporary. The vibe in the apartment started changing. Fast. Our once peaceful, shared space became hers. She started rearranging things. No joke. She reorganized the spice rack. The spice rack. That's sacred territory. One day I walked into the living room and found my coffee table moved. When I moved it back, it was in a different place again 2 days later. She also started playing music out loud on a Bluetooth speaker when she was home alone, which, by the way, was often since Kyle works long shifts. And not relaxing background music. Think aggressive TikTok viral songs on repeat. One morning, I came out of my room, and she was doing yoga in the living room. She looked up, annoyed, and said, "Can you not walk through right now? This is kind of my Zen time." Your Zen time? I brushed past her, not even trying to be polite. This is my apartment, too. She just huffed. At this point, I'm keeping notes on my phone. And this is where the story goes from irritating to downright insane. About a week after the yoga incident, I get home from grocery shopping, and find an envelope stuck to my door with my name on it. Inside, a handwritten note on floral stationery. It reads, "Hey, since I've been helping keep the apartment clean and providing essentials, toilet paper, cleaning products, etc., I think it's fair to split some of those costs. Your portion for the month is $140. Sierra, smiley face." I stared at it for a full minute. She was charging me for products I already buy. And cleaning? What cleaning? The apartment was messy since she arrived. Not to mention the passive-aggressive smiley face at the end. Like this was a friendly reminder and not a hostile invoice from a squatter. I went straight to Kyle's room and knocked. He opened, headphones around his neck. I held up the note. "What is this?" He looked at it. "Oh, yeah. Sierra mentioned she was going to talk to you about that." "Talk to me?" "She billed me for things I already buy." Kyle shrugged. "She says she's been buying stuff too, like candles and towels." "Dude, no one asked for candles. And those towels?" "She took my guest towels and put them in your room." He actually had the nerve to say, "Well, she's just trying to make the place nicer." That's when I realized he genuinely believed that Sierra was being helpful, like she was some domestic goddess who'd blessed our unworthy bachelor pad. I didn't yell. I just said, "Kyle, she's not on a lease. She doesn't pay rent. She's not a roommate. She's your girlfriend. This needs to stop." He looked uncomfortable. "I mean, technically, she's here a lot, so maybe she kind of is a roommate now." I walked away. I knew there was no reasoning with him in that moment. Update. Within a week of the rent bill incident, Sierra was fully acting like she lived there. She started parking in my reserved parking spot. I came home one day, and my usual spot was taken. I texted Kyle. "Me? Hey, someone's in my spot. You know who it is." "Kyle, yeah, Sierra parked there. Yours was closer, and she had a lot to carry." "Excuse me?" I walked up to the apartment carrying my own groceries like an adult and found Sierra lounging on the couch, scrolling on her phone, a smoothie next to her, not a single bag in sight. I asked, "Hey, can you move your car? That's my assigned spot." Without even looking up, she said, "I'll move it in a bit. I'm resting." I looked at her. "You're parked in someone else's spot. You can't just..." I said, "I'll move it. Chill." I walked away before I lost it. She didn't move the car for 4 hours. Then came the decorating. And I don't mean she put a little succulent on the windowsill. I mean she went full HGTV villain mode. One day I came out of my room, and the living room was different. She'd taken down my frame posters, moved the couch to a weird angle facing the window, and added this obnoxious leopard print rug. Like, full 2003 Diva energy. There were throw pillows with weird slogans like "Slay all day" and "Namaste in bed." A pink lava lamp sat in the middle of the coffee table, where the TV remote used to be. I asked Kyle, "What happened to the living room?" He said, "Oh, Sierra wanted to make it more cozy. You know, homie." "Homie for who?" "This isn't a Pinterest board. It's our apartment. She's just adding some personality." "What's the big deal?" The big deal is that I was now living in what looked like an influencer's rejected set design. I actually had to hunt for the remote under a pile of frilly pillows. She used to keep mostly to Kyle's room, but now she was everywhere. On Zoom calls in the living room barefoot, sipping oat milk, cooking elaborate breakfast, and leaving pancake batter on the counter. Hosting girls' night with her friends in my kitchen while blasting music and cackling until midnight on a Wednesday. One day I came home and the entire apartment smelled like burning lavender and hot dog water. I walked into the kitchen and found some kind of holistic stew bubbling on the stove. Sierra was hovering over in a robe. Crystals laid out on the counter. She turned to me and said, "Don't touch the pot. It's part of a manifestation cleanse." What does that even mean? I told Kyle, "She's taking over the apartment. This isn't sustainable." He sighed. "She's just trying to make the place feel more comfortable. For her, not for me. I feel like I'm in a stranger's house." "She lives here now, man. You gotta adapt." That was the first time he actually said the words. "She lives here now." I have a desk set up in my bedroom, noise-canceling headphones, the whole deal. I told Kyle this when we first moved in. Quiet during work hours is important. Sierra didn't care. She started using the living room for her Zoom meetings. Not for work. Oh no. For her MLM side hustle. Essential oils. Boss Babe workshops. Manifestation coaching. The works. I'd be trying to focus on coding and hear her yelling. Ladies, if you're not monetizing your mornings, you're losing. One day she brought a ring light and set it up right in front of our TV. I tried to watch a movie that night, and she said, "I'm using that space for a vision board shoot. Come back later." No joke, a vision board shoot. Things came to a head when I finally gave Kyle a proper ultimatum. I waited until Sierra was out, probably at her weekly wine and crystal circle, and sat Kyle down in the kitchen. "Look," I said, "I've been really patient, but this isn't working." He looked up from his cereal. "She's not on the lease. She doesn't pay rent. But she's using the apartment more than either of us. She moved in without asking, and you're letting her act like she runs a place." He started to interrupt, but I held up my hand. "I'm not trying to be a jerk, Kyle, but you have to see how unfair this is. I never agreed to live with her. And if she's staying here, she needs to pay rent, and she needs to stop treating me like I'm a guest." Kyle actually looked upset. "She's between places. What do you want me to do? Kick her out onto the street?" I raised my eyebrows. "She has parents, friends, a whole network. She's not homeless. She can't afford to move out right now. She got laid off. Then she shouldn't be living in a place she doesn't contribute to. That's your girlfriend. You support her. Don't make me subsidize her life." He crossed his arms. "If you have a problem with her, maybe you're the one who should leave." Oh, he did not just say that. I leaned back. "Kyle, I've been here longer than you. My name is first on the lease. Don't test me." We stared each other down for a solid 5 seconds. Then he got up and left the room. I knew right then that things were about to get messy. The next day, I got an email from a random Gmail address. Subject line: "Room expenses breakdown, smiling face with smiling eyes." It was from Sierra. Not only had she decided to keep invoicing me, but she made it official. The email included a spreadsheet titled Shared Apartment Costs and listed things like scented diffuser oils, $28 shared benefit. Organic soap, $14, hygiene for everyone. New bath towels, $40, you use them too. Wi-Fi, $70, you should pay half. And get this, she had the audacity to add a line: rent adjustment, utilities and amenities used by all 3 tenants, $300. She literally tried to charge me an extra $300 because she decided there were now 3 tenants. 3, as if she lives here legitimately. I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my coffee. I replied, "Hi, Sierra. I did not agree to any of these purchases. You are not on the lease. You are not a tenant. I owe you nothing. Please do not contact me again. Any future communication should go through Kyle." 3 days later, I get a knock on the door. It's Sierra's mom. I wish I were joking. She shows up with a fake smile and a casserole dish, introduces herself as Trisha, and says she wants to talk things out. I was so stunned. I actually let her in. She sat on the couch, which she complimented. "Oh, Sierra did such a lovely job redecorating," and said, "I just think it's important for roommates to support each other. Sierra's in a hard place, and you do benefit from her living here. She brings feminine energy, stability, cleanliness." I stared at her like she was speaking fluent Dolphin. Then she added, "You wouldn't want to be responsible for a young woman being on the streets, would you?" That was it. I stood up. "Trisha, with all due respect, your daughter's manipulating the situation. She's not on the lease. She didn't ask to move in, and she's creating a hostile environment. If she doesn't leave voluntarily, I will take this to our landlord and have her removed. End the discussion." She left without the casserole. The final straw happened that night. I came home to find Sierra in my bedroom. She had gone in to borrow my yoga mat. which I haven't used in 2 years, but still it's mine, and was sitting on the floor wearing my slippers, lighting incense. I walked in and just stared. She looked up and said, "I thought you were gone longer." I lost it. "Get out of my room. Right now." She stood, all offended. "You don't have to be so aggressive." "Get out." She finally left, but Kyle came storming in 5 minutes later like I was the villain. "You don't talk to her like that." She was in my room. She just wanted to decompress. "You've been so hostile lately. She's scared of you." That's when I realized Kyle had fully, completely lost it. He was choosing her, no matter what she did, no matter how ridiculous it got. Update. If you've been following along, then you already know the story has gone from inconvenient to outrageous. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for what happened next. Kyle's girlfriend, Sierra, who moved in without permission, was now treating my apartment like it was her birthright. After the rent invoice, the random feminine energy speech from her mom, and her being in my bedroom, I decided it was time to take control of my own damn living situation. This wasn't just about sharing a space anymore. It was about boundaries, respect, and basic freaking sanity. I sat down that night and made a list, not a dramatic revenge list, though I won't pretend that didn't cross my mind, but a real adult plan. I wanted my home back, or I wanted out. Here's what I decided to do. Check my lease. Figure out what legal rights I had. Contact my landlord. Get a read on their policy for unauthorized tenants.